Welcome to this week's episode of the Courageous Leaders Changing the World podcast. Today's guest is Keezia fucking Leigh.
Keezia motherfucking Leigh.
Thanks for joining us today, Keezia.
Thanks for being here. I'm so wet with excitement.
We love wetness, don't we?
We love wetness. We love
All
wildness and we love being wealthy.
Here for it.
Here for it.
So what is the biggest experience you've experienced in your life where you've had to summon all of the courage that wasn't necessarily there at the time that you had to pull out of yourself in your life? What's that experience where you had to bring all of that out of yourself?
I actually would say it's probably the birth of my first child. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Birth is a place where I had to meet all of the depths. It's so viscerally in your body and you cannot escape using fucking manifestation tools or anything like that. So it's like the first birth of my child, I had to literally meet every single part of myself in the physical body. And I mean, it literally nearly did kill me. I ended up hemorrhaging and losing about 3 liters of blood. And to bring my child earthside and to just keep meeting the I have no idea how I'm going to do this, to keep meeting the pain of it and trusting myself that I could do it was one of the most courageous things that I think I've ever done.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
What about in business?
You're like, I don't want to fucking talk about you, baby. I want to talk about your business.
No, well, there's always different areas. There's the relationship version, there's the business version, there's the birthing version, there's the health version. There's all of the different versions that play out. And, there's different pieces that you get in terms of summoning courage in all of those different areas. So what are some of the other pieces?
I mean, literally, I feel like the most courageous thing I'm experiencing actually right now, which was well, you can't fucking talk about that because you just fucking think. But I'm experiencing it right now is because I've been in business now since I was 22, so nearly 14 years. And at the moment, I am having to let go of all of the past to be absolutely in the freaking present, because I have continued to play these bullshit stories out that just because something really bad happened to me and my circumstances changed, that I was not worthy of being a successful and incredible business owner and leader. And so the most courageous thing that I am doing now is being a fucking stand for that. Even when it makes what a fucking responsible person would think is the right thing to do is for me to step in and go, I'm still choosing this, and to be the energetic frequency and the energetic match for that. So actually right now feels like the most courageous I have ever been in my business. I've made huge investments. I would have spent over probably $500,000 in coaching, business coaching, investments. That doesn't actually feel that courageous. Maybe at the time it did, but this right now, when at the perceived cost to the outside societal world feels like a cost, it's no. The cost is if I don't do this, I'm not being safe. Because actually how you create safety is by being all of yourself, not with some fucking house, not with some fucking amazing relationship. Safety is created being your most fully authentic self. It is the only thing that is guaranteed in your safety. And so right now I feel like I'm just shedding so much. And with the help of you, who's now my business mentor, to see actually no matter what my circumstances are and what anybody's circumstances are, it is all about me and who I choose to be. So yeah, it feels fucking scary and uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie about that. You would tell me, don't fucking avoid that.
Yeah.
It feels scary and uncomfortable and like still meeting all those like fucking vulnerable parts of me. But I know it's what I'm here to do.
Love that. Thank you. And I think that's like that's where the magic happens when we're willing to be able to put ourselves into that place of stepping into the new level of courage, regardless of what's going on for us. We can all, utilize as many excuses that we have around being a parent, around not having the money, and all of these different things. And it's like, it comes back to the old adage of, personal development. It's like you can have excuses or you can have results. You get to choose. You can have reasons, you can have results. What is it going to be? And what it comes back to is that deeper sense of that willingness to actually be vulnerable, to be able to step in again, because it's fucking hard when you've, put yourself out there and then it hasn't gone how you wanted it to go. We have many experiences where like I've gone to do a launch and, we have like one person and you're like, fuck, why am I doing this? Why did I sign up for this bullshit? But, the most powerful thing and when that magic starts to come forth is when we actually start to make our business that growth journey. And as you said, you face the things that come up. You don't run from them. You face those things. You integrate those things. And that's one of the things that I've loved most about you and our relationship over the years. It's like that unending willingness to be able to step back into the arena, even when it's been completely fucked leading up to that. And for the listeners that don't know, we have lots of history together. We first met at June Cafe down at
Palmy.
Down at Palmy. And the next week we went and sat ayahuasca.
He's like, do you want to come to ayahuasca? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. I've never done it. I'm in. Where are we going? What are we doing?
So it's been a very long, deepening journey. And Keezia's been there for a lot of my transition points throughout life. We were talking about it in the event that we're in the other week. There's like so many times where, there has been that level of initiation for me, and Keezia's been one of the people that's initiating me into deeper levels of connection and stepping into my business on an even deeper level. So honoring and thanking you for being in my life for all of those times and places, and to the next season too.
My pleasure. I'm excited.
How important is it to be delusional in business?
How important is it to be delusional? I mean, I think the people, I say this to my clients all the time, the people that win this game have to be delusional. It is literally because your beliefs are creating your reality all of the time. So if there's a belief inside of me that it's not possible, guess what my subconscious is going to grab onto? And we literally are so fucking magical. People think, oh yeah, but I can't create what I want. I'm like, you're literally already doing it with your negative fucking thoughts. You're literally going, it's too hard to create what I want. I'm like, you're creating your whole environment just because of what you believe. So you are that powerful. And it's a necessary part to be around other delusional people. Like, delusions become not delusions when you get in the room with other delusional people. Like, it's so simple. It's like everything that I thought was just a fucking dream is actually now a reality. Like everything. I also have so much evidence that everything I've created, everything that I've said that I'm going to do, everything that I'm just like so delusional in, it happens. And because I've got people also in my arena, whether it's I'm, paying them to coach me, whether they're in my own containers, whether they're my peers, like we're being delusional together. And that creates a vortex of like fucking possibility. And when that becomes your new level of frequency, when delusion is the only standard and when people in your corner are like, fuck yeah, go bigger, go bolder, you're like, yes, I can do it. But when, I had the experience of that not being my reality for, about 3 or 4 years when I moved to the Sunshine Coast. And yes, it was a necessary initiation that I needed to experience, but not being around people who had a frequency of delusional meant that I just slowly, you just start to just make yourself a little bit smaller. You don't even fucking know what's happening. I didn't even realize until I really landed back in the Gold Coast, because my soul was like, you've got to come back here. You need to be here. You need to be with your people that are delusional with you. And, you know, for anyone that's like, something's not working, I'm like, get in spaces with delusional people. If you can't do it locally, pay. Like, seriously, do whatever you can to find a way to be in spaces with delusional people, because your frequency will fucking upgrade times 100. And I know that sounds lame. You know, they're like, pay to be around people. And as you see that online, I'm like, oh my God, wanker. But it's the truth. It is literally the truth. So that's why it's important to be delusional.
Yes, love that. Yeah, it's if you want to do something you've never done before, then you must be delusional.
Yeah.
It's like you want to repeat the same fucking life every like the same 6 months every year for the rest of your fucking life. Well, don't be a delusional. It's as simple as that. Yeah. People think it's this negative thing, and yet it's the thing that cracks open. It's the way that you actually start to pave your own path. The only way that you pave your own path is to be delusional. You have to create something that's never been there before. Elon Musk doesn't go, oh, well, I'm feeling a little bit delusional today, so I probably shouldn't go and do the thing. He's like, let's go to fucking Mars, bitches. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And when you have that energetic frequency, people are just like, holy fuck, I want to be part of this vortex. I want to be part of the Keezia Leigh vortex. I want to get sucked up on with it. I want to become delusion as well, because I don't want to actually relive the same life again and again and again and again every 6 months. It's boring. Yawn. And I know you don't like your boring stuff.
I fucking hate boring stuff. I fucking hate boring stuff.
So speaking to that, when you work with people and you're taking them from boring to bold, how do you do that?
Well, it was interesting, a little story. I was at an event the other day and there's a beautiful woman who helps people to unlock more of their expression. And I was just witnessing how she does it. And it's literally the totally opposite to how I do it. Because most, especially women mostly are terrified, absolutely terrified to step outside of their current social or environmental circle. Terrified. Because women can be absolute cunts. You have to leave that word out, bitches. And so most women actually need a fucking kick up the ass. So I take them from boring to bold by creating and getting them to exercise. I mean, one element is radical discontinuity, which is basically giving them an activity or an exercise to break and to push them over their edge. You know, people, and that's, you know, whether it's through somatics, you know, saying the thing they don't want to say, opening their voice, opening their body, doing something they don't want to do that lives in their current norm of reality. Because when you unlock those parts of your expression, everything changes. And people's worlds start to going from being, I'm a robot doing the same thing and following the same thing, to actually like creating a voice that people actually listen to, because they're not repeating the things that they think they should based on a script they've been given. So I just unfuck people's expression by giving them lots of opportunities to see who they're not.
Love it. Unfuck their expression.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will have done some form of self-expression work. How is the work that you do different?
Because I'm not boring. How is my work different? I mean, I don't think there's anyone like me. I don't think there's anyone who is embodied as me. Oh, you know, but you've got to claim it, don't you? And that's the thing. It's like, as a woman, it's like, oh, you know, be humble, be loving. Well, where does that fucking get you? Sometimes, you know, so the work that I do, the self-expression work that I do that is, beyond and the fucking best is that, it gets people results.
Love it.
Simple.
What kind of life do you create for people when people, work with you?
I create a life where they are deeply and radically fulfilled. I create a life where people trust themselves, where women trust themselves to follow their intuition, to make the moves that don't make sense. And that alone, women to me need aliveness. It's there. As a woman, we need to feel like the pulse of aliveness and vitality. That is actually, how we start to build something that's fulfilled. Because, as a business coach, you could give someone an XYZ strategy and then they follow it, but they're actually still not happy.
Mm.
So women come into my world, burp. They come into my world and they actually get to not only make the money that they want to make, but also have the sex that they want to have, also have a business where they trust themselves and they go after exactly what they want, not some manufactured business fucking boring coaching.
Love it. What's been your journey with trust then?
Oh, Cody. I need a sip of water. What's been my journey with trust? I feel like up until that pivotal moment of giving birth to my son, up until then, delusional self-confidence was something that I exuded and embodied, like just through me. You would ask people, I'd be like, yep, I just make money, I just do what I want, literally it just happens. And I think in that moment where the experience of nearly dying happened, I made it mean that I can't trust myself because I chose as delusional to have a free birth, to not have a birth with a midwife, and I just made it mean in this moment that, wow, I need to start being more responsible. I'm a mum now. Look at how being delusional actually doesn't give you results. And so for the last 3.5 years, I'd been placing these I don't trust myself, and the evidence just kept piling up around me from us nearly experiencing bankruptcy, having to sell our house, and then also me then going from being this like free maiden, doing whatever I want, whenever I want, to then having a partner, which is one hell of a fucking initiation, as you know, to then having 2 children in the space of a year and a half. And just like, oh, yep, there it is again. Can't trust yourself. And it just, like reflecting back now, and I'm so grateful for that initiation. And I'm so grateful for my fucking life because I created all of it. I created these beautiful children and the most amazing partner. And it's not actually about learning, you've really helped me to get this. It's like, it's not fucking about learning to trust myself. It's just deciding. Mm. Like I just chose. And in the room with Cody the other day, I just fucking chose. I just chose it. And it's a decision in that moment to choose myself where I had not been choosing myself. I'd been choosing my children, or that their needs matter more than mine, or that whatever fucking bullshit narrative that we continue to choose. But my kids need me to choose myself. They 100% need me to choose myself and to trust myself. That's how they get the best mother. Not some mother fucking putting everyone else and every other cunt's needs first. That's just one relationship with trust.
How important do you think it is for women to be able to work through their trust issues?
I mean, it's everything. I mean, especially when it comes to the masculine. Maybe I'm still working on some of that. I mean, you don't make bold, delusional moves without trust. And like I said before, it's like, oh, we want to know that we're going to be safe. Give me safety. Give me safety so that I know that I'm going to be okay. And I'm like, it's bullshit. Again, the only safety is in your full, radical fucking authenticity. It's that if you lost everything, are you still the same person? If you lost everything, we had the experience of losing everything. And who did we get to be in those moments? We had to trust ourselves. Or we go back to playing the same old stories, or then thinking that something's wrong with us, or then fucking thinking, okay, I need to do this and be the rest. Yawn. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. What about when, obviously we've both journeyed losing basically everything in our lives.
Yeah.
We've
apart from people we loved.
Yes. Yeah. We've lost all of the external things we've gone through. We've created all this business success, all to, piss it away or do whatever we did to create the situation, to get our lessons, to get the humility from it all. How important is it for people to be able to journey back from that, to actually come back from that? What do people need to be able to come back from that? Because there's going to be plenty of people listening to this that might be in that situation right now. How do you come back from losing it all except your loved ones?
Yeah. You come back from losing it all by realizing nobody gives a flying fuck. Literally. We create so many stories that people care. They don't. They don't give a fuck about us in the nicest possible way. And the place that I want people that are watching this right now to realize, nobody gives a fuck what happened to you. And that's what you're worried about. That's what you're worried, is that people are going to be affected or think something different of you. You're fucking old news, mate. You're not special. Nobody gives a fuck. So who are you going to decide to be?
Yep.
Simple. Who are you going to decide to be? You decide to be that you're the fucking master of everything that you went through, that you have helped whoever in the past and hundreds of people. Your circumstances might not reflect. You might not be like, oh, I don't have $500K in the bank account anymore. Doesn't give a fuck. You're fucking even more of a master because you've walked through an initiation that's going to make you a billionaire, because every billionaire has to nearly go bankrupt to get the fucking lesson. So fucking congratulations. We're about to be billionaires. Woo! Yoo-hoo! Seriously. I know. We're like, man, it is just going to go up from here.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like that level of humility and vulnerability that comes from that place is you can just meet people in an entirely different way. There's that level of delusionality that is ungrounded, that is like more ignorance than delusionality. But then when there's that delusionality surrounded by other people who are delusional, it's less ignorance. It's really like, well, this is an absolute certainty that this is going to happen because we've created this community of people that sees the best in you. Yeah. Even when you're in your shit, even when your circumstances don't reflect what you want them to be, you see the best in people. You see what's possible for them. And then it's soul nourishing to be around those kind of people. And if your soul isn't nourished, it's like all you got to do is look around. You got to look around to be able to go, okay, cool. Who am I hanging around? And the old adage, if you become the 5 people that you hang around the most, it's like you that's great. Like most people use that as a shaming mechanism. They're just like, oh, well, my environment's bullshit. Like I hang around all these shit kickers. It's like, well, yeah, you're going to become a shit kicker, but what are you going to fucking do about it? Are you actually going to change your environment? Are you actually going to own who you're actually being? Are you actually going to level up? Or are you just going to fall into the patterns and be sucked into the negative gravitational pull of the people around you? Or are you actually going to be someone who's actually going to be a lighthouse for people that actually allows people to be able to see the light around them? Who are you going to be? It's very easy to fall back into all of the bullshit, all of the gossip, all of the downward spiral of shame that people are in. And, when people like Keezia are in your corner, you almost feel invincible. You actually feel like delusional is possible.
Yeah.
So what do you feel is beyond environment? What do you feel is the next step for becoming more delusional and creating more delusional goals in life?
That's a hard question.
Have we met? Like, just, do I ask easy questions?
No, I'm like, what did we just talk about? Can I frame it in that way? I know you're going to edit this part out. Can you tell me?
I can give my perspectives, but I'd love to hear what yours are.
What is the next step?
Yeah, once you've created an environment of delusionality, how do we actually create attainment of our goals? Because the first point is like, we got to start to, we can set goals that are like, all right, well, I'm going to get 2 more clients in the next month. It's like, okay, cool, great. That's great. Congratulations. You go fucking do that. Or we can go, all right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the entire scope of what it looks like for self-expression. I'm going to change that. I'm going to create fucking thousands of people all around the world that are trained in the Keezia fucking Leigh modality. You can play games where it's like incremental or exponential. How do we actualize creating those exponential goals when we've been delusional enough to set the goal? How do we create it?
I mean, you just fucking do it.
It's true. And that's the point that most people miss though, right?
Yeah, it totally is. Because I know I'm like, yeah, but you just do it. But that's also an embodied piece that we have is because we just do it. There's literally no story behind it not being possible. But it's like, yeah, you just make it happen. And you just and even if you're like when you're watching this, it's different to notice that, like, what would it feel like to just do it? What does just doing it feel like in your body? Like, what do you have to meet within that part of yourself? Who do you have to let go of? Who do you have to become to just do it? That's the real key pieces to look at. I feel like I'm like, yeah, we just do it. We don't even question whether we can or not. Just fucking make it happen.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. There's it's the kind of double-edged sword of like the name of this podcast, Courageous Leaders Changing the World. Most people who do things don't see themselves as courageous. They're like, oh, I did the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that hard. I did the thing. I recognized what it was and then I went and did it. And only in hindsight do you start to recognize, oh, that actually took something. Like not everyone does those things.
Yeah.
And the piece of like recognizing that, to be able to go back internally, to be able to go, okay, that took something. That took something beyond what was possible. And yes, shit probably came up in the process. Stories probably came up in the process. Didn't stop me though. Didn't stop me.
And that's why part of a shadow is like just getting bored with people that just don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, perfectionism is such a boring part of business that people should just let die. And I know people value creativity. I know people value those things, but maybe this is more for the spiritual community. I'm like, but at what point does you valuing creativity mean that you're constantly still in fucking survival?
Yep.
Like boring. Okay, we need to get over that because you're still in survival.
Yep.
And I talk about that money makes moves. Money likes to flow. It wants to be in continued reciprocity. And even the story of like people like, oh, I don't want to sell my house because it's safety. I'm like, that's boring because whenever fear is running anything, you're only, what is it? Whatever you hate, you perpetuate.
Yep.
You're perpetuating more fear by thinking that a house creates safety for you and your family. I'm like, no, that's bullshit because you create safety. That's it. So just the more, I encourage my clients to be as bold, as delusional, as weird, to get out of the way, to continue to just throw themselves into they just keep expanding through their body, through their expression, through the words that they say, through how they can sell on stage, through all of those pieces. I don't know if they went on a fucking tangent. But.
Go for it. The one piece that I recognize in that with you, it's like, you know, you're that expansion amplifier. It's just like whatever you do with people, it's like you work with all of these people that are already kind of kicking goals. They're already doing all these things, but then it's just like, okay, cool. Well, where are you still playing fucking small?
Yeah.
I mean, you've fucking called me on that like millions of times. It's like, Cody, where are you still staying small? We're going to leave you behind. Do you remember that one? I remember that one very deeply. And at the same time, I'm just like, fuck, she's got a point. I am fucking playing small. Yes, I'm better than most. Yes, I'm kicking goals. But really, still selling out.
But we'll be doing that to each other for the rest of our fucking lives.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love about our relationship.
Exactly. And it's necessary because like it's I was listening to 10x is better than 2x this morning, and they were talking about the Viktor Frankl piece, how he, you know, the forward creating future of what you want to create. Like we will never not be wanting to grow more. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. And something you said on a post just has landed with me forever. It's like nervous system regulation isn't about being soft. It's about connection.
Yep.
We do this actually because, you know, and it's like we're not burnt out, and we might work way more than other people, but burnout to me is not about how much you work. It's about the misalignment. Because nervous system regulation is about connection.
Yep.
That has landed. So I was like, oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Before that, like most people are just like, I've just got to regulate my nervous system. It's like, well, how fucking connected are you? That's okay. Like being connected means that you might be in fight and you're actually working a pipeline, making all of these calls to make the money that day. You're dialing for dollars. That can be connected. You can do that in an intuitive way where you're actually so connected to yourself. You're actually facilitating yourself through that process. That can be from a connected place. People are like, oh, connected. It's just like this low-level calm nervous system. It's like bullshit. You got to be able to be connected in the fight when that comes up. You got to be connected in the triggers that come up, in the want to run away, the want to run away from your partner, the want to run away from the prospect that is, you know, projecting on you saying, blah, 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 blah. Do you make any fucking money right now? Whatever it is, whatever the fucking trigger is like coming up for people. It's like, oh, you fucking boring. I remember when Keezia used to try and get me with the boring thing, and I'm like, you got nothing better than that?
What do I say to you, boring?
Yeah. You still say that. And like, I think probably the first time it's like, oh, you feel it. And then you're like, I can feel into the connection of actually like being boring and actually being okay with that and being like, the more I'm actually connected to that, then I can actually start to receive that and have that flow through me rather than like it hitting me in the face and going, oh, I'm fucking triggered about that.
And like if you actually want to do the thing that you say you're going to do and stop being a fucking pussy and pussyfooting around the impact and the movement that you're here to make and be a leader, get in the fucking arena, bro. Like, don't come at me with like sitting around fucking doing kumbaya. Like this is exactly it. Get in the arena and face off with it all. Because it's not, I think, you know, entrepreneur people like us are the most embodied people ever. Like it's not just about I can handle this. It's like I can fucking handle anything, bro. Like I fucking can handle all of it. I can handle my kids, my relationship, my work, my body, my this is because I'm just connected to all of it and not just staying in one little, you know, people that think life is hard and they need a fucking rest. I'm like, bro, you know, you need a rest because you're just sitting around thinking you need a fucking rest. When actually, like, if you are struggling and to make and create what you want to create, like do the opposite. I would go fucking wild. Do sales calls. Do things that make you feel so uncomfortable. Like that is where your growth is actually going to happen.
Yep.
No fucking kumbaya anymore, mate.
Yeah. There's definitely, you know, growth in kumbaya. The very first time that you do it, the first time that you go and actually start to create connection in that, typically it's like allowing people to get that range. But then it just becomes a coping mechanism. Then it's an avoidance mechanism. It's like, how do we actually create a business and a spiritual life that actually intertwines, that becomes your one life? When, when your business becomes this ceremony, that's when life starts to really open up. If it's like, I do ceremony over here and then I do business over here, it's like, well, great. Well, you've got this segregated life. You've got this separated life. You've created this disconnected life. What if we can bring that level of connection to every single moment? What if we can bring that to ourselves when we make a sales call, or when we've been making sales calls our entire life and making great money, then we recognize, holy fuck, my next level is selling from stage. It's like, that's when all of this shit's going to come up. And that's one of the things that you're really great at. It's like, what are people doing right now? And then what's the next level of that? And I'm going to give them a good old punch in the face to get them into that.
Yeah.
So.
And they love it.
Yeah.
Everyone loves to be punched in the face.
Yes.
Come let me punch you.
Now you've got the softness of the mother to add into it, so you can give them a deeper hug afterwards rather than just the punch in the face.
Exactly.
So
I do both.
Both.
I'll lovingly hold their hand as they jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Truly.
What's that next level of initiation that you're facing off with? Yeah, that one.
I laugh because I'm uncomfortable.
I know, that's why I'm like, yeah, that one.
This is my avoiding. I mean, the next level of initiation is really claiming my space again. And, the things that I've talked about are the things that I'm walking through myself.
Yep.
So my next level of initiation is knowing that I make money fucking easily. The level of initiation that I'm walking through is knowing that my work is fucking incredible and I'm a master at it, and that I'm here to impact millions of people with that.
Sit, let it all out.
It's really annoying because at this podcast, though, he's like, you can't move a lot. And I'm like, but I literally want to move by
Just got to move with the table.
Energetically. Be my voice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the more that we're willing to actually put ourselves on that next level of initiation, the more that we level up and the faster that we level up. And that's one of the things that I've seen for you and all of your growth curves. It's just like the willingness and the speed at which you actually put yourself back into the fire, back into the arena again and again and again and again. The projections come, the judgments come, all of the bullshit comes, and then you step back in and again and again and again. And that's why so many people, want to be around you. It's why there is that vortex of Keezia Leigh that people just want to be around, because as soon as you're caught up into that delusional nature, everything opens up.
Yeah. One thing that I'm really grateful for the experience that I just had is that, when my mum died when I was 17, I didn't get it straight away, but I ended up inheriting
Yeah.
a lot of money. And so, I reflect back and I'm like, the delusional codes were always there. I thought it was because of the money. It wasn't. It actually was just me. But I externalized that it was because of the money that I was able to create what I created. No, it was me the whole fucking time. And what was I going to say? I'm deeply grateful. On the flip side, I'm also deeply grateful that now, having hit rock bottom of experiencing no money and no material things, that the humility now for me to go, I created it from nothing. I also think that initiation's pretty hot. Pretty hot, hey? Yeah.
Pretty wet.
Pretty wet, pretty hot. Because too, it's a level of trustability.
Yeah.
I think before there was an unconscious shame piece that I was holding on to. It's because I had money. But even when I built my salon when I was 22, I didn't have the inheritance then. So I still had the delusional, but I almost feel like I had to have had to initiate into the shame piece, because now it's the actual delusional codes to be here's a woman, here's a mother who has faced, has 2 young children. I'm just hearing all the fucking excuses of mothers, of women. It's I can't because this. I'm I am more connected and regulated than ever. And why are mothers
That's it. Purge it for all women out there.
why are mothers even like, so dysregulated?
And I think like to follow on with that, like how important is it for women to be able to recognize that? Because a lot of the times there's women that they diminish and devalue how they get money. Like they might get it from their husband, they might get it from an inheritance, they might get it from somewhere random. Like, it fucking astounds me what happens with women. Women just somehow magically just get money all of the time. I've got this one client, Jade, that I like, she comes into a program and she's like, I'm going to do the next thing. And she's like, and I'm going to get the money. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. And then 2 days later, she messages me and she goes, so are your bank account details the same? And I'm like, tell me the story. Tell me the random place that it came from. And I'm just like, how do women just do this so easily of just going, oh, this money just came from over here and over here and over here. And men are just like, oh, I'm going to go and make money. I'm going to go and build my business and do the thing. And then women, they just like, this money just appears out of the fucking thin air. It's astounding. And when I see that in women, I see the women that do that more are the people that actually receive, that they're receiving it. They're being the feminine receptivity in that, comparative to, oh, I got this money come in and then I'm like, oh, I'm unworthy of actually receiving this. I didn't earn it. It's like, what if your femininity was receptive enough to be able to receive that? How important is it for women to be able to recognize that?
I don't even think women know. I don't think they have any idea, and I think they shut down so much of themselves because of that. Or they create a story that because it's their partner's money, or it's their this, or it's their that. So there's literally no even ownership that they could be the creator of that. I mean, I say to women all the time, like, to think that you are not the most most receptive, most amazing being. Like, you literally are a portal between heaven and earth. And you are growing that baby and you have no idea how you're doing it. Literally, no idea. You're not trying to do anything. And this is like the power of prayer. It's like, we can talk about going after what we want, but being in the deep prayer and intentionality with our business is everything as well, because I think people and women that have children are like, yeah, but the how. I'm like, you just have to let go of the how and understand that your radiance, your availability to be open to love, to drop the walls that are guarding your heart because of your past trauma and because of the past things that have hurt you, are equally as important in you creating the business that you want to create. It is everything, because, as women, we're not designed to work as hard or be as workhorses. I love spending time with my children. Like, I work 15, 20 hours a week and I will never budge on that. We want to, life school our children, that's part of our values. And I think women need to stop feeling guilt and shame for how they create it, and just remember that they are a vessel for miracles at all times. You're a vessel for miracles. You.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is when you discount where you get it from, you diminish what you get from it. And, the feminine just has this way of like having all of these things magically come up. I joke with my partner. I'm like, so, you do recognize that, when you've gone through this big process, this big fight that we have, why does it that you always end up making more money on the other side of it? And she's just like, shut up, Cody. I was like, I'm in my shit at the moment. I don't care about the other side of it. But it's true. Like, my partner, when she wants to make money and all the stuff's coming up for her, on the other side of it, she's in the room the other day and she's just like sends a message and then someone transfers the money. It's just like, it's just like that. It's like, of course.
Yeah.
And how do people develop that, of course, energy. It's like, oh, of course. Like it definitely feels like it's founded in the delusionality, but it's like, how do they get to that of course of that knowing energy?
I mean, they just have to continue to do it. And I think, confidence and it is built, just like I mean, sometimes it's hard for me to kind of recognize again because we don't always see ourselves. But that level of delusionality, like I've had for almost my whole life. I'm like, wow, you were a delusional cunt. But it's founded in getting in the arena and just like witnessing it time and time again, because you'll soon start to realize with not even much what's possible. And especially if your environment is of delusionality. I see it again and again with my clients. There's just even a few little pushes they unlock and they're like, oh yeah, of course. And especially in the things, and I'm just laughing at some feedback Cody gave me before about, being delusional and like fearing the edge. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so boring. I've been playing it so safe. So boring. I literally needed a me. Now I've got you, which is, the same.
Yeah. Like I always say the thing, it's like you got to eat the medicine that you're going to be giving people. You eat the medicine first. The shaman, he doesn't, just watch from the outside. He's in the journey too. He's taking the medicine as well. And
I feel sick. The ayahuasca's kicked in. Fuck.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we don't recognize that we've moved out of the arena. We think that we're still in the arena, but we're really talking about what's happening in the arena. And it becomes all those subtle little things where we're just slowly moving away, slowly stepping back, that we don't even recognize that we're in the stands watching. I think that's like the perfect thing to bring this to a close on. It's like when people have started to recognize, holy fuck, I've started to step back into the stands. I've recognized that I've started to play smaller. I didn't even notice it at the time till I'm right back here and I'm completely out of the game. Yeah. How do you get people to be able to step back in?
I mean, I think really finding the place that feels like the edge. Because for me and for the clients that I work with, like the only way is to go just like, because I want them to actually, and maybe this is my own shit, but I'm like, I don't just want them. I know it's possible. And especially if they've already created success, they know it's there. It's already just lying there. So if we can just get them to go to the edge instantly, everything unlocks. Because too, people fucking have themselves. Like people have themselves. Like they don't need this hand holding and coddling. I'm like, you fucking got it. Like go deep, fucking dive. I'm just like telling to myself right now, I'm tripped into myself. It's like fucking go deep, dive, and just like meet your greatness there. It's like it's just right there. So the bigger you dive, the bigger you jump, the bigger your fucking breakthrough is going to be.
Love it. I think that's the perfect thing to wrap up on.
Yeah.
It's been amazing to be able to have the masterful Keezia Leigh for this week's episode.
Thank you.
Where's the best people for people to be able to find you? How can they find you?
Best place? I mean, yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I've got a free masterclass vault there of my latest masterclasses if you want to check it out. Yeah.
Epic. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode. Dicks to finish.
Dicks to finish.
Classic Keezia Leigh.